MeTV 24 Meridian proudly presents your favorite way to start the day. Welcome to Mornings with Scotty Ray and Candace.
And welcome to Friday,
Yes.
Scotty Ray and Candace.
I'm so glad it's Friday. I'm so glad. But the week kind of flew by. Didn't you think
It was a quick week, and if you think this week was fast, you wait how fast this is going to go between now and December the 24th.
Oh, I know. It's going to fly by. I have still got so much to do. A lot to do. Christmas shopping wise, I mean, you know.
Got to take care of it.
I've only done a few things, but I don't know. I just have not had time to get it taken care of. So hopefully this weekend I'll be able to take care of some stuff. I don't know. What about you?
December 23rd is not here. It means I have plenty of time.
So you're a last minute shopper too?
But I don't do a lot. It's just not in my nature. And I think there's a lot of men probably guilty of, like me, that rely on their wife to handle situations.
Last year, I was so proud of myself. I got everything, like the shopping and stuff, done early. And then I was able to, you know, just kind of take my time and make Christmas candy and stuff like that. But I don't know that this year is going to happen like that. So.
Well, we wish you luck there. We'll talk about some Christmas parades that are going to happen this weekend. If that doesn't get you into the holly jolly spirit, there's nothing that will, because Christmas parades are designed to do that.
Right.
Looking forward to that. Let's see. Other things are going on in the community. Let's talk about the big story of what happened last night in Meridian, Mississippi. Let me pull this up where you can see this. As we said, this was a breaking story. A car was shot 10 times last night near the Meridian Police Department. Now, this happened around 9:30 p.m. last night as a car was, this is D Street. And if you'll look at this, here sits the Meridian Police Department. Here's 22nd Avenue. This is the old Hooper's building. If you turn down this street and then take a right, this is D Street right here. And this is where it happened. And a car was going, a gentleman was walking down the street with a hoodie on. A car passes by. He whips out a pistol and fires 10 times at the passing car. The rear window and side windows of the car were shot out. This gentleman who's driving the Impala whips into the Meridian Police Department, tells them what happened, and the suspect is nowhere to be found. Now, there is an ongoing investigation into this. I very seriously doubt that there are any cameras in this street. I doubt that, but could be, but I wouldn't bet the farm on that.
Right.
So an investigation into this is underway. We don't know where it will go.
Well, that was bold to do it right by the police department.
Yeah, I think this is more of a message being sent of who runs this town. If you're brave enough to shoot at a car that close to a police department, you ain't scared of nothing.
And the courthouse is going over,
right
over by there.
Right there.
Yeah. To where I guess we'll all have to go there and get tags and do everything right down there in the midst of everything.
So that happened last night. So we'll pass along anything that happens to it, but pretty brave to do that. Not very late either. This was not one of these early morning shootings. This was at 9:30 p.m. Just be always, if you see somebody wearing a hoodie, stay on your main fairways.
Yeah.
Let me word it that way. Don't be venturing off at nighttime into areas of town that you don't know.
Right. That's probably a good idea to not, like you said, don't be late at night or, I mean, really, you don't really ever know. I mean, people do it in broad daylight too.
That's true.
Just be aware of your
Gentleman working
surroundings.
on a building, trying to do his job, got shot in the back last week. So,
hope he's okay.
Crime is in the area, and it will increase. Now, I want to be straight up on that. This is the time of year that thieves get bad and worse. Now, shootings have nothing to, a drive-by shooting has nothing to do with stealing, but as we go into the holidays, they seem to be braver.
Yeah.
Now, can I tell you if the suspect thought he knew the gentleman he shot? I don't know any of that. It could have been just a guy passing through. He could have mistaken that he had a grudge against. That's all hearsay. We don't know. The police will investigate. They will get investigators on it. Hopefully we'll find out more.
Yeah.
But
I hope so.
You just don't put a lot of faith into it when there's not cameras. Nobody saw anything. You know how that goes.
Right.
It's like Magnum PI pulling up trying to get the scoop.
I don't guess anybody was hurt or anything.
No,
so
fortunately,
that's
I
good.
mean, you think about that though. A
shoot
car
up the windows and
10 times and not get hit. How that is almost like a Christmas miracle in itself.
Mm-hmm. It is. I don't see how people avoid being hit by a bullet when you're firing directly into a car.
It's almost like deer hunting. The deer get away.
Yeah.
But fortunately, he didn't get shot. It is, I stress, it's a miracle.
Yeah.
So, thoughts on that this morning. Also, last night coming into Meridian, right before you get to the main exit, the first exit coming from the Alabama side, westbound lane, a deer happened to run out in front of a car. It didn't work out so well. Yeah. It was like, where's Chet? My car is tore up.
The deer are definitely moving. Last night I saw about 4 on the way home, and right as I was pulling in my driveway, 2 shot across the road. So they're moving for sure.
Oh, yeah, they want to do the what do they call it? The December dance?
Yeah. And on the interstate, I guess they're just so used to the traffic. You'll see them sometimes just sitting on the side, standing on the side of the edge of the highway, just sitting there grazing, eating. Or
They're singing that old song called Green, Green Grass of Home. That's what they're doing.
Yeah.
They love that. Whenever there's new grass, boy, they're really all over that.
Mm-hmm.
But also, we had an accident last night on County Road 350 in Clark County, just north of County Road 354, right past it there. Mm-hmm. And I haven't heard how everybody is. We hope everything's good, but there was an accident there last night. Also, reports this morning of an accident near Lauderdale behind the Cefco, a car off into a ditch, and people were not aware. I haven't heard yet if anybody was in the car, but it was in a ditch, and that was called, and we hope everybody's okay.
Yes, I hope everybody's okay. Goodness, it's foggy. I mean, bad foggy out there right now.
So
super foggy.
Let's go to radar since you bring that up and point out what we've got here. We'll go to locations as we pull up radar here. This is Lauderdale County, and we are thick. Now, that's over here in Alabama also. But as you come across Meridian there, the western side, and this is going to be the West Lauderdale area, is worse, and also toward Clarkdale, these areas. Look how thick this is. Now, the yellow and the gray are fog too, but the darker the colors, the worse it is.
We could not even see the shop down on the back of our property from the house this morning. You couldn't see anything.
So look at this.
It's
this
so bad.
Goes all the way down. This is going to be all the way over here to Paulding, to the courthouse there. Take it in right there at Lake Edens. It's thick across that water. And then all the way to Shibuda. Highway 45 all the way through Lauderdale County. Look how thick that's going to be.
I guess the school kids are probably at school by now, but all of
Yes.
the people that are headed to work, just be extra careful because it is dangerous.
Now, as you look at the big map there, Winston County, our friends that live up here, let me turn back on locations and look at Winston County. If you're up here, this is going to be right there where Walmart is, going in across where Winston Academy and the jail is. Highway 14, and again, I urge y'all, this is a 2-lane road that runs from there to Macon, Mississippi. That is a rough road to travel with fog. We want you to be careful. And if you look at the state overall, look at all this red that we've got here. Here's Vicksburg. As you cross I-20, the bridge into that, whoa. All down through here in Gulfport, Biloxi, Highway 90. Look how thick this is from there to Slidell on over to Baton Rouge. So we urge caution on driving anywhere today.
Yes.
Hey, I thought your necklace matched your sleeve there for a second. I thought that was, I can't see good.
My sleeve,
Yeah.
the
leopard
print.
I thought you had a leopard necklace on there for a second there.
No, it's just like a little.
Did you make that
like
one?
a little. I did. I made this one. It's just like a little an eagle on one side and a liberty head on the other side.
Oh, aren't you getting talented with all your jewelry? Do you do earrings yet?
I have done earrings. I have earrings, bracelets, necklaces.
Girls getting on up there. Well, I hope that you just do it for fun. You enjoy it?
I've sold some. I've sold a lot of them. I have. I've got several that I'm making for people that liked some that I did, and I'm making them because they're buying them for Christmas presents. I just decided to try to do it. I don't know. I've always been kind of creative. I like to do things, and I've not really had time to do as much as I used to do, and I loved it. I mean, I was into art. I love to draw.
But it's fun to have a little hobby that you can make a little money at. I enjoy stuff like that.
I mean, it's not like outrageously priced stuff. It's but it's fun and and people seem to like it. So
good.
Anyway,
we're proud of Candace as she breaks off into new territories there. Let's see here. We'll talk about Elf on a Shelf. So if you've got a picture of Elf on a Shelf of what you're doing, what your elf is doing at your home, share with us. We'd like to do that. Also, we're asking for your Christmas lights. If you've seen some, we want to see more of those. We showed yesterday the downtown area. Coming up next week, we'll get some pictures of what's going on out Delwood Way.
Right.
And if you've been by Dr. Mason's, which I have not this year, anybody got any pictures of that yet?
I have not been by there this year yet, but that'll be one of our little stops that we go by.
So do you like the blow up looking yards better, or the cutout with the lights around wood better? Which one do you like better in front of a house?
I mean, the kids seem to love the blow-ups better, but, and I really like all of it. I can't say I like one better than the other, but
there's no bad Christmas decoration?
Lights are so pretty, though. No.
Oh, they are.
But I love colored lights, too, but white lights are my favorite. I mean, when people have the icicle lights lining their house or any kind of white lights, and I know ours, we did it one year. We have a pond in front of our house, so it reflected into the pond. It was so pretty. And then we have the cross that we usually line with lights, and it reflects into the pond.
Y'all not going to do the boat and let it float around there?
No. You could. Well, don't give me any ideas, Scotty Ray.
That would be pretty neat, though, to have a boat, and then, just it has to be battery operated, I would think. But
we had a pier at one time, and it's like it needs to be finished to be being torn down, but because it's old. But we used to put a Santa Claus on the end of the pier years ago, so he looked like he was kind of standing out in the water. But
Karen Palmer said she had 23 deer in front of her in a field in front of her farm last night, and had to wait for them to cross the road to get into the house.
23.
That's a bunch.
They're smart, though. They know to eat at night.
Yeah, cornbread fed is what that is.
Yeah.
So a lot of good mornings, and we'll mention you. Let us know where you're watching from so we can share that with everybody. Let's turn to talk about, as we get near the holidays, making sure that everything you got is super clean. And we visit our friends at Godwin Cleaning Service. They do that. Mississippi office at 253-8262. And again, with Christmas coming up, a lot of parties for your businesses and New Year's parties. Make sure that your business looks great, as Harry Mayer and so many other people have gotten their canopies clean. You go into walls. Now, this is a home here, but they also do businesses the same way. They do a lot of commercial work. And if you want the before and after effect at your place, talk to them. Get on the list to get it taken care of before the holidays. We've got all this cleaned up. Look at this. The before and after on metal. You can do it with just about anything, including all these homes. If you've never seen these pictures before and understand what happened, shingle roofs, slate roofs, asphalt roofs, doesn't matter what it is, they can soft wash this and make it look brand spanking new. All that brick looks good too.
It does.
Turning that white again. Yeah, it's easy to do. Brick, rock, doesn't matter. They'll make it look as good or better than it did before there, including your sidewalks up to your home.
Right.
That turns
driveways.
black over time.
Yeah, and a lot of people's driveways will too, but they can get it clean for you.
Godwin Cleaning Services, 253-8262. Get it clean for the holidays.
Every day, there are thousands of vehicles on the road that are company-owned fleet, truck, SUV, and vans. Every year, there are thousands of accidents that involve these company-owned vehicles. A company-owned vehicle accident is not just another accident. These accidents become a responsibility of not only the company driver, but also their employer.
Commercial vehicle accidents are difficult cases. I'm your Mississippi Attorney, Richard Schwartz. If you've been injured in an accident that involved a commercially owned vehicle, remember, one call, that's all.
Welcome back with Scotty Ray and Candace as we travel along on your Friday morning.
Yes.
Weekend is here. And now I warn you, let's talk about the forecast for just a moment. I didn't bring that up, of rain chances and what's going to be going on with that. We do have rain in the forecast, and it looks as though, let me go back up here and show you when all this is going to start. As we pull up our forecast here, 73 today. We've got a lot of fog till about 10 a.m. We get a 20% Saturday night, and it'll slowly start creasing Sunday night all the way into next week. So get it done this week. It's going to be some showers next week, which means our roads will be slick once again.
Right. And I hope they get done with the showers before Thursday, because it looks like they will, but we'll see. We have a field trip Thursday.
Where are you going to?
My child's they're going to Landrum's in Laurel.
What's that?
It's like a little town they have set up. It's really neat. It's like a little old timey town down in Laurel. This family does it. I think their last name must be Landrum. But there's a little general store. You can buy little souvenir things.
I want to say I saw some movies or something maybe filming.
The kids can pan for gold. There's all kind of neat. I think they can ride on a little ride thing that goes around, a little train thing.
Huh.
It's neat, you know.
Wow.
So we're going on a field trip next Thursday.
Well, let us know how that turns out.
We will.
Could be a wet one for you. Let's hope not.
I hope it's not.
Well,
Goodness.
this used to be, I know everybody and their brother had the elf visiting their shelf, and a lot of homes this year have been replaced by Rip on a shelf.
Yeah.
We understand that. But there's some that still have elf on the shelf, and you've been busy with the elf visiting y'all's home.
Yes.
This is some of the pictures, and I don't have them in quite order.
Yeah, this is our elf's name is Tiny, and so yeah, this is kind of like the one on the right is a past picture, but I just wanted to send it. But this is how ours is.
Now,
he just kind of gets into everything. Got
The
into
elf,
candy.
he's wherever he goes, he's supposed to be like looking over something. Am I understanding?
He leaves every night and then comes back, but he goes he's in a different place. Supposedly, he reports back to Santa every night. Ours does, and you know
he's up in a tree there.
Yeah, he's in our tree there. He is on Santa right here. We have a Santa Claus standing by our tree. No, that's not mine.
No, sometimes this stuff's got to be reported to Santa. Batman has taken over the
This is not
situation.
my house right here. But yeah, people do all kind of neat things. I found a site where the elves, it's a bunch of pictures of all kind of mischief things, you know, that elves get into.
Right. So if your elf on a shelf has been into mischief, send us a picture. We'd like to share that with others. That's pretty happy stuff there. Happy stuff.
Yes.
Interesting stuff is what I meant to say. Happy. Let's see. Good morning to Helen Joe Smith. Glad you joined us today. Nice of you to drop by.
That's right. Cheryl Clark, good morning from Nellyburg. Steve and Wanda McKinnon, good morning. And Martin Moore is in Quitman. Good morning.
Yeah, let's see here. Nancy Harris is one of the ones out there watching today, along with Mike Moore. Thank you there.
Yeah.
Also, Peggy Simmons is joining us there. Happy from Cooksville.
Yeah.
Good morning.
No, I was just going to say good morning to Bill Reinhardt. He's one of our regular watchers. Glad to have you on this morning again.
A few things that will be happening over the weekend as you make plans of what you're going to do, where you're going to go. During the daytime on Saturday, which is tomorrow, don't forget Wyandotte is having their day from 8 a.m. until 4 p.m. at the Wyandotte Community Center. That's one of the things. Now, the next thing that will happen will be the Christmas parade in downtown Meridian beginning at, is it 5? Is that right?
I think so, 5 o'clock.
So make sure to come out for that. Get you a parking spot early. Yeah, 5 p.m. is the opening time for that.
Yeah, because I think they said they're going to line up at 3. Start lining up at 3.
I had in my head was going to do that, but I didn't have my ducks in a row this year. So if you can't go big, you can't go.
Right. We
So I
don't want
didn't
to
get-
half do anything.
I didn't get it done this year. Now, we've also got some of our Clark County friends that are getting ready for upcoming parades also.
That's right. They have a December 4th. There's 2. One in Shibuya at 11 a.m. and one at Stonewall at 6 p.m. Quitman's going to have theirs on December the 6th at 6 p.m. and Enterprise on December 11th also at 6 p.m.
Now, I somehow or another forgot. Somebody posted yesterday about the parade that's going to be in Philadelphia, and I have plumb forgot the date. So
I think, I want to say they said 6 p.m., but I'm not sure.
on what date?
I cannot remember what date
as
it was.
bad as me.
Maybe it's, I don't know. Y'all tell us again.
I'll write it down
I
this
can't
time.
remember.
Collinsville also getting prepared, but you've got a little bit of time before this happens in Collinsville as we look at what's going to be there, and let me hit the right button. It will be December the 11th also there.
Right. And they're going to live stream it. It's going to start at 6 p.m.
Be almost like being there.
Right.
So check it all out. That's coming up in Collinsville, a few things there. As we look at some headline stories across America this morning, there was lots of talk about this, about the budget falling through and we not having enough money to operate the government. Remember, that's happened a couple times. And
Yeah.
overall, it's not generally anything bad. A few businesses you can't get into that are government operated, and then they open back up and pay everybody. But that was diverted as 18 Republicans stepped across the line and signed off on it. So they've got it taken care of for a little bit longer. It was midnight tonight was the deadline on that.
You know, all I hear is how Trump left this administration in such a bind. You know, I'm wondering what the next president's going to say.
Don't believe everything you read, I think, is the story
Oh, well, I
behind
mean, I
all
know.
that.
I don't believe that, but I'm just wondering, you know,
Yeah,
there'll probably be some truth to that if the next president says that.
we'll see. We'll
What you
see
think?
there.
Yeah.
Other headlines this morning is this, and I did not watch it. I got carried away with several projects last night, but Alec Baldwin gave an interview, and he truthfully is not showing any remorse for this. Says he doesn't feel guilty about the accidental shooting because it wasn't his fault. He is trying to say that the gun went off on its own. Now, John Snyder, who was Bo Duke, took to Twitter and to Facebook and several locations and said that he doesn't believe any of this, that he believes it's BS, that whole interview there. And he goes down to this, and this is what John said. 3 weeks ago, it was a prop gun. 4 weeks ago, nobody knew in the world how the real weapon was even loaded on the set. And he said today, he didn't pull the trigger.
Yeah, he says that I watched some of the interview.
You did?
Now, he was very emotional, but he is an actor, you know.
Correct, and that's what John was saying.
Right, and so, you know, it's like they were saying this morning when I was listening to somebody. They said, you know, he has not gone and done an interview without really being talked to by his lawyer, and really, you know, you're not going to allow your client to go on an interview that the whole world's going to see unless you have gone over what you're going to say lots and lots of times. And so, you know, he could have prepared him for that. And they said that whatever story he told on that was the story he was going to stick to. And this is what he said. He said that he did not pull the trigger, that he pulled the hammer back on the gun. And that he said, watch this. Something was not right with the gun, I think is what he said. And he said, watch this. And he released the hammer and the gun went off, he said. But did he not hit more than one person?
It seemed like the bullet nicked somebody else, it seems like.
Or I thought it might have fired more than once.
No, it was a revolver.
Okay.
Which, a revolver, if anybody knows anything about a gun, when you cock the hammer on a revolver, your finger 90% of the time is on the trigger, and to release the hammer, you have to put your finger on the trigger at the same time, like this, squeeze and hold the hammer to let it down so it will not fire. Right. Now, if he was trying to release the hammer, it would have went off if that thumb slipped it off. But they were filming a movie. Is there not video of the actual
you would think it
killing
would be.
Of this lady? And that would put everything out of doubt.
I mean, I hate it because
I do too.
You know that he has to. I mean, I don't believe that he's not at all remorseful. I mean, you can't just take a life and not. I mean, I guess you could. Some people could, but I don't know. I know he is an actor though, but he did seem very upset. But at the same time, I mean, you know, he's rehearsed what he was going to say, and I don't know about not pulling the trigger.
That
that's
doesn't
the first we've heard of that.
And then he says he would never point a gun at anyone. Well, you did.
Yeah.
And, you know, you go back on this, and the original stuff said the script did not call for the gun even to be pulled at that point. He did that on his own.
Yeah.
So when will we find out the truth on this? It's going to be muddied for quite some time.
It is horrible, though, because they said the lady that lost her life had kids. I mean, she was a mother. And it's just horrible. It's a horrible thing.
The sheriff, I'm looking at another headline here, says guns don't just go off. The sheriff and gun experts cast doubt on Alec Baldwin's claim he didn't pull the trigger on the set. Now the attorneys for the movie set are backing up Alec Baldwin. Of course they are.
Yeah.
And that's what you do in that line of work. So we'll have more on that as that develops. And it's sad. There's
sad.
A child without a mother and a husband without a wife.
Right. It's horrible.
Let's go to Chicago. I want to show you a video here of when accidents happen. You would think that most of the time someone knows the accidents happen and they pull over immediately. What happens when you're involved in a wreck and they keep going? And maybe you're attached to what they're doing and they're pulling you and you can't stop it. This was video live from a guy's car. And I'm trying to think of his name, and I'm not going to be able to pronounce it. Griskett Mizgit. Didn't say that correctly. I tried. But he's going down the road, interstate, I-90, let me see, I-294. And he comes up on this, and it's like, whoa. And he thinks it's just and then he realizes the person is in the car. Watch this closely as we pull this up to watch. That driver of that 18-wheeler had no clue that car was underneath it. And so that guy there pulls in front of the truck, waves him down, and they get it stopped.
I mean, how does that happen?
Unless
somebody ran,
He either cut into a lane or she cut over. I don't know what happened.
That's scary, though.
But they were apparently good at it. But, as you could see, it crushed right where they were sitting, but they were able to climb out of that. Thank goodness.
Thank goodness. You would think at some point the truck would just totally run over the car. It's amazing it didn't.
So when I talk about being in Atlanta traffic or Chicago, Houston, y'all be careful.
Yeah.
People out in those areas don't use a whole lot of turn signals to let you know that they're getting ready. They just whip.
Yeah.
If you've driven to Baton Rouge, you've seen that, to where they'll go over 8 lanes to get to an exit running at 80 miles an hour.
I'm a nervous wreck when I'm in that kind of traffic. Normally I'm just riding with somebody else is driving, but
I'll just say
I'd be the one going like inching along in one lane, just like this.
It's not like the 4-way stop in DeKalb, Mississippi, where you look both ways and know what's coming. It's the big world out there. Even Jackson is starting to get there. When you get on 55, you better be paying attention to what's going on. It's not the old days of Jackson, Mississippi.
Right.
They getting it.
When we went to Vicksburg, that traffic was horrible. I mean, the 18-wheelers, it's like they were just swapping lanes, and it was awful. And the other night, when we were on the interstate, it was bad too. There was a truck that, didn't even use a blinker and was fixing to move over into our lane. It's just scary. You have to really be aware of the other drivers, because some of these truckers have probably been driving for a really long time and they're probably tired, but it's not just truckers though. It's everybody. Everybody needs to be aware.
Got to have you some patience when you're out traveling about there. The new jobs report is out. Yeah, and it's not good. No. Only 210,000 new jobs were posted.
Really?
So very dismal. And there's a news story out this morning that I read to where Americans are deciding, they're not ready to go back to work. And I'm assuming, now this is an assumption, and we all know what happens when you assume, that old saying. But a lot of these states are still paying that extra money, I would assume. Again, I don't know that for a fact. The extra money causing them not to want to go get a job. Yeah. There's nothing more than not having money in your pocket and being able to feed your family that makes you go, today is a great day to go to work. And until America makes them do that instead of giving handouts to everybody, that will continue to be the problem.
It will.
Mississippi, Alabama, I think, have made that move, and you got to work to get your money now.
Yeah, I think if you're capable of working and you need the money, that should be
we're past that initial, everybody's closed. It's time to go to work.
Right.
So we'll watch that. More to come up about all of this going on with the shooting that happened at the high school. We'll get into that in just a moment and tell you more about that also. Let's see. I was trying to think of some more holiday events that I was aware of. We're going to have some special guests coming up on Monday. What happens, and I'll have to look at the exact title of this, maybe you're cleaning out Grandpa's shed. Grandpa's passed away, so you don't know what's in Grandpa's shed, and you get to digging around, and lo and behold, there's dynamite in there.
Oh, my goodness.
Believe it or not, it is a problem. That happens more than you know. And we've got an expert coming in Monday to talk to us about what do you do.
Yeah.
So, and that happens locally. So we'll talk about that also. And then there's going to be a new play coming up out at Meridian Little Theater. And we're going to have our guests coming in also Monday morning to discuss all of that. So be ready for it. I want to say it's a Christmas play.
Okay. Is it Miracle on 34th Street?
I believe that is it.
Yeah, it's a musical.
Yeah, we'll find out more about that. That's coming up on Monday. So make sure to tune in Monday to find out about all of this stuff. We'll share that. Interesting stories. That's right around the corner. Here with Scotty Ray and Candace.
The Piggly Wiggly of Collinsville is passing along these great savings. Idaho potatoes, a 5-pound bag, $2.99. Fresh blueberries, $2.99. Heinz Easy Squeeze Ketchup, 32-ounce, $3.79. Piggly Wiggly Self-Rising or Plain Flour, a 5-pound bag, only $1.99. Piggly Wiggly Cornmeal, a 5-pound bag, only $2.39. And Twin Pack Boston Butt, only $1.49 a pound.
We're down home, down the street, Piggly Wiggly.
Sanders Gas, Sanders Air and Heat is your full-service propane supplier since 1946. We take pride in ensuring reliable, friendly service to our customers. We also provide safety tune-ups related to propane, air conditioning, and heating systems, keeping our community efficient and safe. I'm Chuck Sanders, and yes, we're local.
Connie Johns reminds us you ain't seen traffic until you've driven in LA traffic. And I got to say, it's pretty bad out there.
I can't imagine. I don't even know how many lanes they have out there.
As far as the eye, I was there in 95 and drove through all of that, and went up to OJ's house, went down, and and honestly, that was my first time there.
Oh, really?
And I pronounce it rodeo. They have that misconception that it's called rodeo.
Yeah, Rodeo
And,
Drive.
Very expensive neighborhood. I saw the first time in my life that I ever saw two people of the same sex kissing on a street corner, and I remember sitting in the car going, "Wow." I saw all kinds of strange things that just was not a part of Mississippi life. As you go out into the big wide world, it was something else. Tower Records, that was a big thing. It's closed now because you don't sell records anymore. But interesting town, and glad I went there. Don't plan on going back.
I've never been. I've never been to
that
California.
Hollywood sign too.
Did you?
Yeah, that was neat.
I've just seen it in the movies.
All in, it had Hollywood land there in the beginning, and then that part fell down, and they didn't replace it.
Oh, really? I did not know that.
Yeah.
I just always thought it was Hollywood.
As we go back, let's go to that little moment here. Oh, and we also found out when the Christmas parade has come to Philadelphia.
December 6th at 6 p.m.
So make sure you do that. Now, my wife will tell you that I'm hooked on these. Like if I even think that I've got a chili cold, I start running and breaking open the box and taking as many as I can because in my mind it makes me feel better. But it was 1931 that the Alka-Seltzer finally went on sale. This was the original bottle. This is what it looks like now. Plop, plop, fizz, fizz. Remember that old commercial?
Oh, what a relief. Yeah.
You don't. They've dropped that, haven't they?
Yeah, I've not heard that commercial in a long time. But Alka-Seltzers are not as bad as they used to be. I've had to take the orange zest ones. They're not really that bad. I mean, they're not great.
I'm immune to it now. I don't taste anything bad because I have in this thing. It will make my runny nose stop. Give it to me now.
Yeah, it's not that bad anymore.
But I have, and the other thing that is kind of a weird taste that you have to sometimes do that I've seen people gag on.
What?
The BC powder. Can you take it?
I don't. It's awful. I mean, if you've ever had an aspirin in your mouth, I mean, it's like you've chewed up a whole cup full of aspirin and just poured it on your tongue. It's awful. But it will stop a headache. I don't know how good it is for you.
I'm going to go for an assumption on this also. I guess the powder goes to work quicker than if you took the peel in a round solid. Maybe? Probably
so. I'm not real sure how good that is on the lining of your stomach.
Yeah, if they come up tomorrow and say that this Alka-Seltzer does bad, it's over for me. Y'all have to come to a funeral.
Goodness. Yeah, my mother was a believer in the Alka-Seltzer because I remember in high school, if I got a cold or anything, she was bringing me that cup with that little fizzling.
It works.
Yeah.
Trust me. Multiple things.
The orange flavor does help, though. We'll say that.
1947, I've watched clips of this, and I guess I should be ashamed that I've never watched all of this because this was huge. It hit Broadway. I think they've made a musical, and there's maybe a new movie coming out about this before too long. 1947, Streetcar Named Desire opened on Broadway there. Tennessee Williams, I think, was the writer of that, and what a classic it was.
No, that's the lady that played Scarlett O'Hara, isn't it?
No, not there. Not in that picture. I'm not sure what her name is, but no, that's not Vivian. That's not Vivian Lee.
It looks like her with blonde hair. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
No, I don't think that's Vivian.
Okay. Just checking.
Vivian was a very attractive woman. She had some issues there in the end, and she passed away. Bless her heart.
Okay.
Plop, plop, fizz, fizz. Oh, what a relief it is.
Yes.
See, people still remember these things there.
Yes.
I remember as a kid hearing, and back in the day, nowadays, anybody that you hear, you can see a picture and you know exactly what they look like. But back in the day when we were kids, and a lot of you were kids, you only heard a voice and you could only imagine what someone looked like on the other side. So that voice, you painted a picture, and I can't tell you the times that people used to tell me that. Oh, you don't look anything like I thought.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I thought you was an old fat boy, like big old boy, like 600 pounds.
Goodness.
And I am chunky, but I'm not that chunky.
You are not chunky. Goodness.
But this guy, I had it visualized in my head also what I thought he looked like. And then when I finally saw the picture one day, I go, do what? No. He was born on this date in 1950 and would become a legend in broadcasting. Paul Harvey, if he said it, well, it was absolutely true. And if he endorsed a product, it was the best of the best because he wouldn't put his name attached to anything that him and Angel didn't try first.
Now, is this the one?
Okay, when you bring up the name Paul Harvey, you had to say, is this the one I'm
No, I know who Paul Harvey is,
Okay.
but I mean, is he the one that did the If I Was the Devil?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
that would be a part of the rest of the story. He
Yeah,
did that
if you've
in
not heard that, you posted that
Yeah.
one time. If you've not heard that, you need to pull that up. That would make the hair stand up on your arms. I'm telling you, on the back.
1965 is when that was done, and it holds so true to everything that is here right now.
Right. It's scary how it applies to our everyday, what we deal with now.
It is, but I always enjoyed. Like he'd have a story about George Washington. You wouldn't know who, and you'd be hanging on that 5 minutes to find out who it is at that last second. And the one that he'd done about Elvis was so touching. And it was titled The Wrong Side of the Tracks, about a little boy who goes to school bragging about his uncle coming to visit and stay the summer with him. He was a country music star. And he talks about the little boy who doesn't know how to play that wants to come over and get lessons from him. And the little boy's parents say, no, he can't come here because he's from that side of town. They're poor, they're cheap, they can't come to our house. And the guy comes out and he met him on the doorstep, stayed outside with him because that little boy wouldn't let him come in his house. His parents wouldn't.
Goodness.
And he said that he learned a few strums and he goes, but that man would be invited into your home from now on. You would go with him everywhere. And it was Elvis Presley that was trying to learn the 2 chords on the guitar on a street corner.
So sad when people
that happens.
label people. Oh, I know.
And Elvis was dirt poor. I mean, there's no doubt they didn't have 2 pieces of cheese to put between a piece of bread or 2 loaves. I may have said that wrong.
Right. It's sad.
And as we bring up Elvis Presley, it would be this day that by accident, a reporter for a newspaper accidentally happened to be at Sun Records on this date. And it would go down, the picture taken as the $1 Million Quartet. It was just a snapshot, and it became famous. And here's that picture from there. 1956, with all of them piled in there. Carl Perkins, Johnny Cash. There they are there at Sun Studios. Jerry Lee.
Yeah, Jerry Lee Lewis.
That was quite the picture there.
Yeah.
Sam had a knack. All of his stars went on to become huge stars there. 1956. You know, Elvis would do you remember the where he got arrested in Memphis? He pulled up to a gas station to get out to buy gas in his brand new caddy, and he was swarmed by people. And Elvis, being the way he was, signed autographs, and the gas station attendant started yelling at him and took a swing at Elvis, and Elvis didn't take it, and Elvis whooped him.
Oh, goodness.
I mean,
didn't hear
Elvis
about
put
that.
a whooping on the guy, and they went to court. He sued Elvis, and Elvis won. Unfortunate. It was 1966 on this date, if you were a Ray Charles fan, that he would get his sentence gone away. He'd only be fined $10,000. He was convicted of possessing heroin and marijuana. Ray Charles. That was back in the day when Ray was big. Tell me what I said. It was a different style of music, and it would be big. Candace, you dated somebody in high school, I think, that had one. I've seen pictures.
Crazy.
I just didn't have it to show this morning. 1979, off the end of the assembly line, would be the last one of these made. And you wouldn't see it again probably until Wayne's World was made, because I wouldn't ride in one of these if it was the last car. The A&C Pacer was no more after this.
You mean to tell me you wouldn't ride in that?
No, that is.
If you didn't have
one-
anything else to drive, you wouldn't ride in
I'd
that?
have to call my neighbor and say, come pick me up. That was ugly.
Okay. It ain't a pretty car.
No.
You know, but I can't say that I wouldn't drive it if I didn't have wheels and a steering wheel otherwise.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Oh, God, that had John Denver and George Burns. Isn't that what he was the manager of the supermarket. Didn't he drive one of those in that movie?
I don't know, but what was a Gremlin? Do you remember
It was
a
real
Gremlin? It was
ugly.
kind of similar.
Yeah, real similar. And
I took my driving test in a Gremlin.
where did you?
A friend of mine, I think it was a Gremlin. I might be wrong. I think it was, I don't know. But they had that was their car. It was three sisters. Well, two at the time, I guess it was. But
Bill, did you say you've got a Pacer?
Shared,
if I'm reading that right.
he had a Pacer.
Had one, okay. Make sure you're not riding around a decab in a Pacer these days.
But anyway,
Check
yeah,
on it.
I took my, I took
So you
my-
were like hot styling there back in the day.
It was what did they call it? They called
Ugly?
it something.
Can't get a
No,
date car?
it had a name. You know, people like name their cars and stuff.
Yeah, it was in that movie, How to Not Get a Man in 10 Days, I think. They used that.
You're so crazy.
Let's see here. 1979, this would be one of the first times that we would see this. A concert was coming, and people were piled up outside. And they had some seats that were unclaimed, where kind of like the first come, first serve thing. It was a Who concert. And the band started practicing, and the people started pushing, and 11 people would be left dead in Cincinnati trying to get one of those seats. And the concert had not even begun yet. I had almost forgotten
That's
about
scary.
that. But the Who was big back in the day, weren't they?
I guess I'm sure I've
Did
heard
they
their
sing the
music,
song
but
Who Are You? The theme song to.
I don't know.
Because
If I heard some of the music, I'd probably recognize it. But
of course
I was
I'm not that style of music. I was not. It wasn't Southern rock. I don't know what it was, but it was far from Merle Haggard. And I thought I would bring this up. This will happen tomorrow. You and I won't be together tomorrow, but it's kind of like the romance of that should be for all stars that are out there. In 1971, George Strait walked down the aisle and was married on this date to his high school sweetheart. And they're still together today, Norma and him. So a trip down memory lane is what that is today. A few things that went on. Maybe that brought back a smile for you, things that you remembered there.
all right.
You want to go riding a Pacer just yet? Dribbling?
Look, I would not. I had a car. It was a 82 Toyota Corolla. It was like reddish orange.
I remember those.
Okay, that was my first car, and I was just glad to have one. And it would not even cut off when you cut it off. It would sit there and go, and then it would just crash.
I had a 1977 B210 Datsun, or Datsun, depending upon what side of the tracks you live on. They tried to change the name of that later. It was Datsun, and then they called it Datsun.
Well, I wasn't picky, so
Whatever it had.
I was glad to have a ride.
As we talk about our friends, let's talk about some more. The Precast Group, they build these here in Meridian for your safety and peace of mind is what they deliver. When bad weather breaks out, you have a place to go to. Be prepared for it. They've got it for you out on 145. All it takes is a call, come out, take a look. They can deliver this to your home. If you're going ahead and building, they'll deliver it today, set it up, bolt it down, and it'll be there. Now, if you've already got your home built, don't worry about that. They can install this outside to a slab. They can put it any way you want to, or one of the models that are put in the ground. A lot of people like that as well, to be below ground. You can do that with the Precast Group. As I said, the inside, you can decorate and arrange it however you want to with the seating and put what you want in there. See them. They'll walk you through it. Peace of mind, and it's very affordable. 482-003 is the number to call. It's the Precast Group. Again, for peace of mind and safety for your family, make sure that you're prepared when bad weather breaks out. It is the Precast Group here in Meridian.
I was returning from a visit with my family when my car was completely destroyed by a truck that ran a red light. I was unable to work and I needed help.
I'm Mississippi Attorney Richard Schwartz. I'm proud to represent the people of the great state I call home.
Okay, Bill Reinhardt, let me call you out on this. Bill says his first car was a 1970 Cadillac Coupe de Ville. To this day, you can bring that up, and I cry. Me and Angie, I would say, I had a 1970 with 29,000 actual miles. It was black, long and black. Gosh, it was beautiful. And to be able to move to a new house, I had to sell my car for a down payment. And I'm telling you, I wake up at night with that shudder thinking about my car. It's awful to have to give up something that you love, but I had to do it for the betterment of the family. But it's the car I'm describing is Boss Hogg's Cadillac from the Dukes of Hazzard.
Okay.
That is a 1970 Cadillac. And a drop top is like the ultimate. Sam Marshall, if anybody remembers Sam in Meridian, his 1969, do y'all remember that was in all the parades in Meridian? What a great guy Sam Marshall was. But rumor is, I heard one day this week that a doctor bought that car.
Huh.
I'd like to see it again. But that is like the ultimate like drop top to have. And if you remember Undercover Brother, he was in a 1970 Cadillac. Oh, my gosh.
Goodness.
Bill, shame on you. You were above the rest of us there.
you were lucky. I got a Cadillac for the first car. And then Connie John said she got a 79 Mustang for her first car.
Yeah.
Y'all were lucky. I had like one of them little, me and another girl at school had those 82 Toyota Corollas. Mine was reddish orange and hers was yellow, and they called us the Skittles. Rolling into school.
Mine was a 1970 Torino was my first car.
I think I had to take mine to the BOAG room or BOAG shop class, let them work on it a couple of times.
Give you a boost?
Yeah, my radio was just, I don't even think it came with a radio from the factory.
Yeah.
So it had an after factory radio just like screwed to the under part of the car. It had fallen off and was just laying on the floor, you know. But, you know.
Bill said it was a cool car. Mm-hmm. Boy, yeah. Did you have 8 tracks, or were you already in cassettes at that point?
I had a cassette player in my radio that was screwed to.
My first.
But we had an 8-track. We had a record player when I was growing up. Had an 8-track thing in it. Yeah.
My very first 8-track that I owned was Hank Williams Jr. Habits Old and New. That 8-track, I can still see it. It's just burned in my mind of what I had.
I can remember us having a stack of 8-tracks stacked up next to the record player, and my parents, I guess, played it all the time.
And then the tapes would get hung, but not as bad as a cassette.
Right.
Leslie Joyner may have outdone us there. She had a 1984 Plymouth Reliant as her first car. It's kind of like real similar to that K car.
Uh-huh.
It wasn't cool. I'll give you credit, but it would move. Pontiac Astro. I can't hardly remember what the Astro looked like.
Sally Long had a 65 Mustang.
Well, yeah, weren't you a cool kid?
Y'all
on
were
the block?
styling.
Yeah. I watched Matlock yesterday, and his little sidekick had a 65 Mustang convertible. Oh, Elmer. 57 Chevy, 2-door hardtop. Yeah, you get the cool award for the day, the sticker and all. Mm-hmm. That is cool, cool stuff there. I always wanted a 77 Trans Am like Bandit, and I never got one.
I want a 69 Camaro. I usually say Camara.
We might have to sell the house now.
I know.
Those are averaging anywhere from $50,000 to $80,000 now.
I love
a good
them, though.
one. Now you can get 68 Dodge Charger, still my heart.
I don't know what year Chet's is, that Camaro he's
That's
got. That's a pretty one.
67
pretty.
to 69.
It's pretty. It's
Black. Yeah.
Shiny black.
Ain't nothing quite like it there. So that's some of the stuff. As we go and look at some of these stories that are coming out now about the Michigan boy, they're saying that if you know all of this, when they set him down, he had that parent-teacher interview where he'd been brought in for, they were meeting with the parents that he wasn't acting good at school, that he had the gun on him in the book bag during the meeting now. And then he would go on and he
But nothing happened to him. He didn't get any kind of reprimand.
Apparently
from
not.
Whatever
I hadn't heard what become of that, but it wouldn't be but a couple hours before that he would go out and do what he did. You know, from all indications, and I don't know all of the details, but boy, that kid sure doesn't look like he has any remorse. Not talking to the judges, not giving any statements whatsoever at this point. That's
sad.
That's cruel. And they're still saying there could be possibly some bullying involved in this, what drove him to it. They're also saying that the parents now may face gun charges for letting him get the gun.
Yeah.
That's not confirmed, but that is the talk of what could be coming up from that.
Goodness.
Woo, Beverly Davison, 1964 Lincoln Continental was her first car. You owned the road. That car is big.
Goodness.
That's somewhere around the suicide doors.
Yeah, it said with suicide doors.
It does? I couldn't see that far.
What is that now?
It means your doors, your back door opens up the same way as the front door. They open up like this instead of to the back.
Okay.
They open up to where both doors open like that.
Okay.
Pretty neat. And of course, John F. Kennedy in his 63, that I believe it was a 63 model that he passed away in during that assassination. That's what they look like there. Josh Duggar, as we've said many times, his wife is standing by him through it all. But boy, the more you hear about this, the worse it gets with details. Duggar on there had pictures of a child being tortured, an infant, on his computer there.
That's sick.
And he had this his wife apparently had software on his computer that would alert her if he were to look at something he shouldn't. So what does he do? He goes and buys a software that is smarter than that software that hides it. Now, as you get, and I won't go into all of because the headline is just not worth repeating. I won't even go there. But there were pictures of a 7-year-old girl on his computer, and I'll leave it at that. the headlines go so much deeper and the story does on this, but there's no need to even go any further. It's just bad when you say 7-year-old. Now, if this is true, he should be punished.
I would never allow him around my children.
I don't see how the wife
Even if they
could.
were his. He would never.
Up until this trial started, he had his wife convinced that he was completely innocent. And again, he could be, because in America, you are innocent until proven guilty. We don't know. We'll find out in court as this comes along. Details come out a little bit each day, more and more about this, but what we're seeing is not good.
I saw where one of his sisters was going to be put on the stand as a witness.
His cousin Amy is asking for prayers that he will be sentenced. That's pretty serious for you kinfolk to turn it. But you're right. He did do something to his sister early on that is just now coming to light. And didn't his daddy, Jim Bob, break that story?
His name. I don't know if he did or not. I think there was some kind of a
family quarrel
story about that. But that's just all. Ugh. Goodness. You never know what goes on in families. You don't.
Elmer
Scary when
got
you
a
find
38 Buick with those doors with suicide doors on it. Let's see, Pat Banks, what'd she drive there? What's it say?
Chevrolet, 69 Chevrolet Nova.
Yeah, that's real popular. Nancy had her 55 Chevy. Those are even popular also. 55, 56, 57, if you can get your hands on those.
If you have any pictures of y'all by these cars when you were back in the day,
sure,
send them to us. I'd like to see those.
Yeah, I don't even know if I got any pictures of my ugly old cars that I had back in the day.
I think it would be neat to have like a post full of all those.
I'm a member of one of those things on Facebook, and I can't. And it's constantly somebody on it that posts a picture of their dad or grandparents buying an old car. It's just neat to look at it and look at those street signs and things that were in the background.
Oh yeah,
back in the day, I enjoy it. Even Remember When in Meridian, Mississippi.
Yeah, I like looking at that page.
And they have a Remember When in Nashville. I think each town probably has one. So if you're watching, search that for your area and just the buildings. Natchez, Mississippi has one. I enjoy it so much.
Yeah. I'll tell you what's coming back too, talking about back in the day, is drive-in movies.
Is it coming back?
Yeah, it is. There's states that have them, and I heard where that's a big thing that's coming back. I wish we had one of those, really. I know I guess it's still up, and then it's just, or
probably
maybe it's
not in good shape.
Oh, I know it's probably not in good shape, but that's just, I think it's a neat thing.
They are.
They say that it's easy to socially distance people because their cars can be so many feet apart. Remember, like, they would have people come out and bring your food to you if you ordered something.
What do they call those hops? Was
car
that the
hop.
name? Car hop. Car hop. This girl knows more than you think she does. She's been holding out on us over here.
I know, Scotty Ray.
She got some knowledge up there, y'all. She's got it going on. Let's talk about our friends down at the Lauderdale County Farm Supply. If you need it, they got it. Why? They are a farm supply, and they've got it from one end to the house, to the farm, all the way around to, well, decorating your tree also. They've been there since 1932, taking care of business. And this is the Christmas shop.
Oh, they have got some beautiful things. If you haven't been in there, you need to go check it out. Ribbon for your trees, ornaments, all kind of little knickknacks you can sit around for the holidays.
You know, not long ago, Angie was looking for a particular tree. And I ran into Ron in a parking lot. I said, Ron, I need such and such. 2 days later, he had it. I went and picked it up at the co-op. They're good folks. They'll get what you need, anything. When it even comes to this Christmas stuff, they can tickle your fancy with it.
Those candles, Circle E candles, those are wonderful candles. They're real highly scented candles. Yeah. Great for a gift, or if you just want one for your home.
Getting the paint, you can use it for perfume also. Work boots. Boy, if you need a good pair of boots to go to work in, they've got those along with the mud boots, because we will get some rain next week starting, and you don't want to get your good boots muddy. Well, you got to have those work the cows, or if you're hunting, whatever the case is there. Rice bran and all of this good stuff with deer cocaine galore. Any attractant that you use, they've got it for you, and always introducing the new stuff that people like. Of course, seed, feed, and a whole lot more there, along with that triple grip there that's got a bunch mixed in with it. Well, they got deer cameras. If your honeydew needs that on their list for Christmas, they've got them, along with deer stands and tents and dog bones and, well, all through this area here. See them today. Corn and a whole lot more with ammo, scopes, and gun. It's all at the Lauderdale County Farm Supply.
I'm Janet from Jackson, Mississippi, and it took one call, that was all. I called my Mississippi attorney, Richard Schwartz. He got me $377,250.
If you need me, Mississippi, remember, one call, that's all.
And welcome back with Scotty Ray and Candace as we race toward the top of the hour. And as I told you, this is the fastest hour on television that you'll ever encounter. Mm-hmm. And just zoop, and it's over.
That's right, it is.
We had some more comments, didn't we, about some cars?
Sally Long said that she'll have to go dig up some pictures. Her daddy had an original first car, a 29 Model A. I'm not sure what that is, but
It was like the Model T Ford. It's the Model A.
Okay.
Wow, that's been a while there.
Yeah. What was I going to say? I was going to bring up, I had heard a thing about the Epstein stuff. You've been hearing about that? Like the Maxwell case and how Epstein was at the White House. How many times did they
17
say?
times.
17 times during Bill Clinton's.
Yeah. In 1994, it was 12 times, and a couple of those times were twice in a day he made visits to the White House. He was pretty much on the roll. He could do what he wanted at the White House.
So I don't know. It's just my thought that possibly there's a lot of high-profile people that are going to be involved in this mess.
Oh,
and don't you think that there's a lot of diversion going on probably right now? You know.
But as I told Candace, you and I were discussing this before we went on this morning. I probably would almost bet you a Moon Pie and RC Cola that whatever her testimony is, everybody already knows who she's going to implicate.
Yeah.
Who she's going to talk to. That's already been discussed through various ways, and there's not going to be not any surprises now. Because if there were, there would be a price tag to pay, and I think we all know that.
Right.
I think Jeffrey paid that price tag.
Mm-hmm. I'm just surprised she's made it this far.
It's only because she's talked to the right people and said, this is what I'm going to say. Mm-hmm. If they were scared, I think she would not be sitting there today.
Yeah.
That's a gut feeling. Anyway, that's just an opinion as we toss it. But scary stuff there, a guy like that. And if you'll remember in Florida when all this started breaking out to where the law was basically done away with, the charges were dropped. Remember all that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Plea deals. He knew the right people, without a doubt.
It's a mess, for sure.
Sadness this morning as we find out. Who remembers Carmine, Laverne and Shirley?
Yeah.
He has passed away at the age of 69, Carmine.
Goodness.
And he always had to go take those poor cold showers that she made him go take. Did he ever get to kiss her?
I don't know, but what did he do? He sung or something.
He was the dancer of it.
Okay.
You remember that each episode had him doing some type of little dance. I guess musicals were big back in that time.
Okay.
If that had been filmed in the South, they wouldn't have been doing that.
Yeah. But I watched Laverne and Shirley a lot. Lenny and Squiggy when they on there.
That was it. Lenny and Squiggy there, always trying to get a date.
Yeah.
Obnoxious. And they worked in a beer factory. But Carmine, 69, not all that old at all.
No, it's not.
So we pass along condolences to him and hers. I'm sure that's played on MeTV somewhere also if you want to watch a little bit of that. Let's see here. A couple of more things that are going on across America. Biden says that they're going to start testing. If you fly an airplane, get on an airplane anywhere in the United States to fly somewhere, you will have to have a test done before you get on there. They're trying to curb the virus from going.
Even if you're vaccinated and a citizen. So I wonder what they're doing for the non-citizens.
That's a good question.
That they're flying all over
well, they
the
don't
country.
exist.
In the middle of the night, dropping them off.
They can fly. Yeah. Oh, and since you brought that up, let me throw this up. I got a text last night that said, hey, did you hear anything about illegals being flown into Meridian? And I dug into this, and it turned out it was car parts that were flown in from Mexico that landed at the airport. So that's what was going on with that. There wasn't any people. It was a car parts order that was delivered.
Okay.
So a supply chain thing that was landed in Meridian. So that I know that was a big talk.
Right.
There's a bunch of, but that's what happened with that. I'm glad you said that.
But I think the administration, from what I understand, the administration had flown in a bunch to Florida not too long ago in the middle of the night.
It does happen.
Yeah.
I got a call not long ago about Stark Vegas, Mississippi. A whole busload of them sneaking in the Social Security office. There was pictures taken there in Starkville, quickly and out. It does happen. We'd like to say thank you. We got Christmas parades all over this weekend. Enjoy, and we'd like to see your pictures as you go out.
Elf on the Shelf, your car pictures. We want to see it all. Christmas lights. So just send us inbox pictures of all that. And we have enjoyed today, and we'll be back on Monday morning, 8 a.m.
And I hope you make some Christmas cookies because I could really eat about right now.
Look, I don't need any more candy.
Ooh, I love
Goodness.
it. Thank y'all so much for being a part of this.
Yes.
Scotty Ray's weather is brought to you by